Jamie from Shanghai CSC. Welcome to Celtic World.
Thank you very much, Gav. Good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. And we also have David in Bangkok. David, how's it going?
Yeah, great. Cheers, Gav. Great to see you again, Jamie. Looking forward to a fantastic show, learning all about the Shanghai CSC.
Yes, now you two know each other from a previous CSC connection. Tell us about that.
I met them back in 2019, I would say. I think it was when I moved to Thailand from here, and they'd already had a good established CSC happening there. So it was great to get in with them, and obviously I was there. I'd been there a couple of times when you were at your previous bar, and then I was there kind of when it was moving to O'Shea's, where the current one is, and that. As you would have learned from the Bangkok podcast before, but yeah, so it was a great club to have joined, and we had a lot of great experiences together in Bangkok, in O'Shea's for the games, and then also going down visiting the Thai Tims when we were there, and we just we did a lot of social evenings and together with all the lads there. So yeah, I've been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, so you're on your second stint in Shanghai. So tell us what brings Jamie from Donegal to China.
Yeah, so I first moved here in 2016-17. It's actually technically my third stint here, because I moved to Laos for a year after my first year here, and then I kind of missed Shanghai at that stage, and I moved back for another year, and then I moved to Thailand for the 4 years I was there, and I went back to Ireland for a bit, and then just wanted to come back out to Shanghai again. I have a lot of mates still here from the first time I was here. So yeah, just made that decision to come back out, and that's where I am currently now.
Now that's a lovely back home pronunciation of Lao. The way you said that, the way we have to make such an effort to say it the right way, whereas Lao is how we, like Chairman Mao, we would talk about, but you can't do that when you're a man of international mystery. Have to open up those vowel sounds, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. It was a great part of the world. We made our efforts to sort of make a sort of little CSC while we were there as well, but
in
it was
Vientiane?
nearly more difficult. Yeah, Vientiane. So we set up the Vientiane CSC, but I would say we got about 5 or so, which wasn't bad for somewhere so quiet. But yeah, we had a good time there. We always had people to watch the game with. So it was a very enjoyable year there as well.
Did you get up to Vang Vieng and do the tubing down the river and all that?
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, very
Many times.
regularly. Yeah. It's a great country. Yeah, fantastic.
Did you ever come across an old Irish fella called Joe who runs a guest house on the other side of the river?
Joe doesn't ring a bell. I met Gary who runs the Irish bar there up in Vang Vieng. Gary's Irish bar. He's a great lad. And then there was a lad, Seamus O'Grady, who ran the bar in Vientiane the year I went there. He had a decent Irish bar. It's the first bar I actually stumbled into that first night I ever arrived in Vang Vieng or Vientiane. Couldn't believe it was an Irish bar. The first place I went into, but that's how it went.
I'm surprised there's an Irish bar in Vang Vieng, I have to say. It was a long time ago I was there. But we're getting way off topic already. Jamie and David, as you both probably know, the viewers of the Celtic World are incredibly knowledge-hungry people. Every day is a school day, so they're itching to learn more about Shanghai. So shall we do that by way of the first of our little introductory videos?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I can't promise how much I'm going to be able to tell you about Shanghai, really, but I'll tell you as much as I can.
Let the video do the talking then. So there you go, a little glimpse of Shanghai. Now, I don't know what other people's preconceived ideas are of China and cities in China, but looking at that video, I bet there's people watching that thinking they can't believe that that's what China can look like. Shanghai, incredibly futuristic. David, have you been to Shanghai?
I've not been to Shanghai. I've been to Beijing, Hong Kong, one of the Chinese kind of shopping areas beside Hong Kong. I can't remember the name of the city, but it was basically a shopping trip. But certainly it's obviously a fabulous country with. But I'd like to get to Shanghai, and I look forward to going to visit the CSC at some point, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, crazy looking place, and 27 million people in the city of Shanghai, not the country, the city. That is insane, right?
Yeah, it's a very busy spot, but no, you're right. It's a fantastic city, and it's vibrant. It's a melting pot. You have people from every walk of life and every nationality here. Huge expat community, but yeah, you're right. Maybe people from home sometimes, and they might have just a different sort of view of Shanghai or China in general. But I think it's, for some people, it's so far away and so different to home. They don't really understand what it's like unless you actually come here. But friends that have visited, and even when the family visited, they got to really love it. They were quite surprised. I think it was different than their expectations. The busyness sometimes can get to you if you're not used to it. But in general, it's a great place to live.
Like 27 million people is like, what, 4 times the population of the Republic of Ireland or something like that? 3 to 4. Yeah. I mean, in a city, one city. And I don't know why my mind goes to this place, but when I saw that stat, I thought that's an incredible amount of feces that has to be dealt with. I mean, 27 million people living in the same city. There must be just incredible sewage system to get rid of all that waste. I mean, like, I don't know why my mind's going there, but unless you can tell us something about Shanghai's sewage system, we'll move on, Jamie.
No, well, it's like other parts of Asia. They're not mad for you to flush anything else down the toilet if possible. But yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, let's move it on. Well, let's imagine for a second we're tourists and we go to Shanghai. One of the first places we might want to visit is the Oriental Pearl TV tower that was seen in that footage. Have you been up it?
Yeah, I actually haven't been up it, but it's a very common first place to go to the Bund area, just to get that phenomenal skyline. And I mean, it's beautiful during the day, but then it lights up usually around 7 or so in the evening, and it's quite the spectacle when it lights up. There are a lot of sort of rooftop areas on this side of it as well, so you can sit up and look over it while you're having lunch or dinner or whatever. But it's a very beautiful part of the city.
Well, you haven't been up it, but would you like to go up it right now with us in video format, along with all our viewers?
No problem. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pearl TV tower, and this tower is one you often see in photos showcasing the Shanghai skyline thanks to its unique appearance resembling a towering spaceship with a pinkish purple hue. You can explore beyond the tower's base by taking an elevator all the way up to the top to experience a completely different view of Shanghai. Here it is, my friends, views of the whole Shanghai. This is insane. Oh, look at that. We've even got the tower right there, shadowing right into the distance. All the boats coming in and out. If you're afraid of heights, I wouldn't recommend going to where I'm about to tell you is my favorite part of the tower. On one of the 2 levels, when you go up to the top, you will find a 360-degree view of the city. And when you look down at the floor, you'll notice it is see-through. That's right, there is a glass floor with a full drop that you can see all the way down to the ground, many, many, many meters below you. So if you're scared of heights, this may not be your favorite, but for me, it was so much fun to walk around and experience this. I would recommend visiting during the day due to some of the evening smog that might make it a bit harder to see the skyline. Midday is when we went, and it was a fantastic time to experience Shanghai.
So there you go, Jamie. You've been up the tower now. They love those glass bridges in China, don't they? They seem to be everywhere.
No, they do. And then I have been up the other tower in Shanghai, the Shanghai Tower, which is I believe the second tallest building in the world. And yeah, phenomenal views from up there. They also have the glass floor on one section of that. It kind of looks like the kind of corkscrew building, or the bottle opener, if you call it that. Yeah, some amazing skyscrapers in Shanghai over that side of the city, especially.
And do your knees give way when you're on that glass? Or
mine definitely do.
David, are you a good man for the heights?
No, I'm terrified of heights. You could not pay me to go up that thing.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the Manahakanon something tower in Bangkok. Hopefully you can edit that properly. It's got one of those glass floors. And my wife takes the kids up there, and they're quite happy to lie on the ground, being photographed. And even just looking at the photograph gives me the vertigo. So absolutely no chance you would get me up there.
And one thing they touched on there, Jamie, about China, which I think a lot of people have gotten wind of, maybe just because people in the West get the bad news and not all the good news from China, is the smog, you know, the haze, the air quality. What's it like living there?
Yeah, to be honest, there are worse parts of China for the smog. If you go up further north, if you go to Beijing, for example, the smog there, especially over the winter, would be a lot worse, and you wouldn't see 5 meters in front of you nearly. There are definitely times of the year here as well. It would be over the winter time. January there wasn't great for it, even February. But I don't think it's as bad as it was when I was here, you know, for the first stint I was here. It doesn't seem to be quite as bad this year. But you do notice it. One morning you go out and you can see, you know, miles in front of you, and then another morning you go out and everything's fairly hazy.
You mentioned a bit of geography there, Jamie, Beijing being in the north. Let's have a quick check on the Google Maps, see where we are. All right, so Shanghai is sort of there in the middle of the screen, the very east of the country, on the coast. Where is Beijing? Beijing's up here. And Chongqing, Shenzhen. Somebody told me a ridiculous statistic about how many cities there are in China with more than 10 million people, or something, 50 cities or something more than 10.
I mean, anywhere you go, even the closer cities to Shanghai, you can go an hour away from Shanghai and it's another city with, you know, 10 million people.
And then this is Shanghai close up. So built on the Yangtze River. And it's got a lovely big lake there, Taihu Lake, and little islands around it. It's a good location for a city by the looks of it. And a big expat population, as you would imagine. I mean, 27 million people. There's got to be a lot of foreigners there. What sort of things are expats doing for work?
The majority here that you would meet would be teachers in, you know, international schools, international kindergartens. The high majority they meet here. But then, you know, you have people coming here working for their companies that are maybe based at home, coming over and working for certain periods of the year. You have engineers coming here, lots of sort of specialists in their different roles. But the high majority you meet here would be teachers on the international scene.
Is that because the Chinese are sending their kids to international schools, or the international schools are there to cater for the engineers' kids and the people who are out there on contracts?
No, it's the Chinese parents. A huge amount of international schools here, and you have schools that have, you know, thousands of kids. International schools have thousands of kids. But the high majority, I've worked in a few different ones, and the high majority would be, you know, Chinese children, often born, you know, maybe have an American passport, things like that. But their parents are usually Chinese or maybe Taiwanese, things like that. But that would be the majority.
When I was looking into the expat population, I came across some little groups of expats, hardy expats in Shanghai, getting involved in things like this Shanghai Gaelic Football Club.
Yeah, I was involved. I was involved with the Gaelic Football Club myself. I kind of am still on and off when I'm avoiding injury. But yeah, great bunch of lads. A mixture. There's quite a few Irish on the team there. The lad, on the very left there, he's from the same hometown as myself. But yeah, they have a big club. They train once a week, and they have about 30, 40 people at least at training.
The fella lying down wouldn't be Irish by any chance, would he?
He is an Irish lad. So he is, from Kerry.
He's the most Irish looking fella. Very good. And Shanghai China Gaelic Games there, 2024. So they've got teams to play against. What's it say here? Look at all the Shenzhen Celts, Beijing GAA, Sichuan Shamrocks, Taiwan Celts, Hong Kong GAA. So a thriving scene there, I would say.
No, there definitely is. And that was actually just before I came over, because I got over in July. But the teams in those kind of smaller cities, like I said, still huge cities, but those smaller cities are now able to kind of field teams as well. And there's, in general in Asia, there's a lot more Gaelic football happening. So just everywhere's kind of, the clubs are improving and getting bigger. So it's great to see. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, when I looked up the CSC and I was going through all the pictures I could find on various social media platforms, I came across something I kind of didn't expect to see, which is a friend of the show. This is Dumbarton Tam from Seoul CSC, and this picture is up. And he calls it the inaugural meeting of Shanghai CSC, which I asked him about. Conor McGinley on his right side, on the right side of the picture, was a member of Seoul CSC back in 2006. They've known each other a long time. Right-hand side is Li Hui, a hardcore Celtic fan. I knew him via a friend in South Korea who was living in China beforehand. The photo was taken in 2014 when Tam was there on business. And he doesn't know if it relates to the current Shanghai CSC, but they did sort of set one up back then. Is that the seed that gave rise to the current one?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that was quite a while before much of it kicked off. I arrived about 2 years later than that, but Lee is still here in Shanghai and an active member and one of the founding members, obviously. He was the one who started the Facebook group for it. I think back in just before that, probably. Maybe it was 2013, maybe even. He set up the Facebook group. He set up the local WeChat group and stuff here. And he was kind of trying to recruit people, just as much as he could. Connor is also still here. I know Connor fairly well from going to the games, and he was here back when I was first here as well, but he was living in another city just about an hour outside Shanghai, so he would have been to quite a few of the games, but he's actually living in Shanghai now. So, yeah, you do see him quite frequently, and see Lee quite frequently as well.
Okay, and we'll have a wee look at some of these pictures then from down the years. Most of these seem to be 2018, 2019. Tell us about this handsome looking boy.
That was actually in Dublin when we went over played against Shamrock Rovers, I like to take the flag with me. I think I was the only Shanghai CSC member there that day, but that was a great event. It's
very distinctive. There it is. Talk us through this.
Yeah, so that was during the years when I came here first as well, and I think we were just kind of lucky at that time there was a few other boys who were big into getting the CSC sort of up and running. There was Stephen McCready. He's not living here anymore, but he was over, big Celtic fan, and he made a big effort that year, the same year I arrived in 2016, to sort of get a consistent number of people out. And we managed to find at least probably 6 or 7 boys that were big into Celtic and wanting to watch Celtic every week, which was something that I don't think they were able to get before that, really. And then, yeah, this was developed in that year, the badge, and I think it was actually Connor that helped with this as well. I think he knew he had a friend, and obviously they created the dragons because it's, you know, one of the symbols of China, and then you've got your Bund skyline in there with the Pearl Tower in the middle. And yeah, they managed to create quite a nice flag. We still have a couple of them here. I've got one up in the room here. Got it on a few t-shirts.
Instantly recognizable.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Show us your t-shirt there.
The t-shirt's just the same.
Yeah.
I'll just down here, but yeah, but just the
Careful,
exact same.
I don't know if you've got any shorts on, so careful how far down you go there. All right, that's cool. Yeah, it's a nice crest or a nice flag. It's very distinctive. So you're an important member of the Shanghai Celtic Supporters Club, but also, as we mentioned earlier, there was that interim period where you were a very highly valued, I believe, member of Bangkok CSC. David, tell us about that.
Jamie has one word, and it's legend. He is sorely missed by the Bangkok Celtic Supporters Club. If there were 2 people watching the game and one of them was Jamie, we were sorted. He was the life and soul. I wrote a song about Jamie before he left, to the tune of the Jota song. Jamie's on the ball. He's our superstar from Donegal. It went a wee bit more than that, but yeah, Jamie was an absolute superstar for us. He was adored. I know that he was a teacher in Bangkok, and my daughter has met him several occasions. When he came to visit the Thai Tims, this huge school, and you can imagine all the kids just fell in love with him. I can imagine he must be just a fantastic teacher, and I'm sure he could show you some of the videos where the interaction with the kids, the Thai kids, and when we visited the Thai Tims, absolutely loved him. He's just the best guy. I miss him absolutely tons, and I wish you were here, Jamie. And I know you're going to do an absolutely fantastic job with the Shanghai CSC.
Oh, David, I'm not going to be able to fit my head in the school in the morning. But yeah, no, I definitely feel the same. Miss all of you in Bangkok, and it was a great time. And as much as I'm enjoying the Shanghai SC right now, it'll be hard to find anything quite like what we had in Bangkok, and what you guys are still carrying on, and now you're carrying on. So, but yeah, I definitely looking forward to our next meeting, wherever that may be.
Soon, I hope.
All right, let's get it back then to Shanghai. If there's still any dry eyes in the house, we'll move it on. And Jamie, you can talk us through these picks.
Yeah, so that was, back in probably the 2016-17 season. That was kind of, at least I would say, average numbers. We would have sort of, at least this many going to the games, normally more. But the majority of the guys in this picture as well are sort of big Celtic fans, and quite loud, like myself. So we would normally make quite the scene in Shanghai at the time. One of the boys had a bar on with him as well all the time, which he sort of donated to me. So we were definitely heard all throughout the city, and that kind of helped. helped our group grow at the time, because there was a lot of interest from, even just other football fans who weren't necessarily firstly into Celtic, but they were watching it and they just saw the excitement of watching the games with the club, and that's kind of how we built it, to be honest. Yeah, that's in the Blarney Stone Irish Bar. So that's still going. It's one of the bars that survived kind of through COVID and everything. And it's opened and going strong at the minute. They actually still have that flag up in their ceiling. And it's one of the very few Irish bars in the city. But we sort of took a slightly different approach this year because it was going through new management, and there were just some issues with the Blarney Stone at the time, at the start of the year. So we went through a few different options this year to see if we could try and get some of the boys that we knew were probably still around back out again. But yeah, most of the ones in the pictures there, that's me and Lee up there. That's the Byron I was talking about. That Byron had better days. Yeah, and that's Stephen McCready as well that I mentioned. He was a big part. Sorry, up in the top left there, the picture where I have my hat on. That's Stephen McCready, and he was one of the ones that was pushing big time back in 2016. And yeah, those were the kind of times where we were out every week. We were guaranteed a crew every week, and we had a lot of very good nights.
Yeah, no, Jamie, the Shanghai CSC experienced a challenge, which I think many CSCs did. Maybe David can talk a bit about this as well. Is there were glory days before COVID, and then that saw a kind of a draining of the expat population, and therefore CSC numbers went down. And well, many CSCs I think haven't recovered back to the levels they once were at. That's very much your story, isn't it, in Shanghai?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of us that were heavily involved at the time moved on. Most of those pictures, most of the guys you see in those pictures, there aren't many of those guys left now. Obviously, I wasn't here during that time. Lee is still here. He's been here the whole time, and then Connor's moved to Shanghai now as well. So yeah, there's Connor and Lee both in that picture as well. But yeah, again, the only two from that picture that are still here. A lot of the supporters that used to come sort of weekly, they all sort of left at a similar time, and there was obvious reasons for that. But it just kind of dissipated, and yeah, when I came back in July this year, it was sort of trying to put the feelers out again. I had been in the group the whole time, on the WeChat group and whatnot, but it was just trying to put the feelers out again to see, if we could get the group in Shanghai actually back out and watching the games, because that hadn't been the case. There might have been a few lads, meeting up the odd time for the big games, just over the previous year before that, but there definitely wasn't a continuous sort of support happening. So it was just trying to put the feelers out, trying to start sort of fresh things with a different pub. And
what's the pub you're at now?
So we've kind of gone through a few different ones. We've tried a few different options, and we sort of actually go, from pub to pub, and they know we're going back to them. We don't always do the same one. We started off the year in the Tipsy Fiddler, which is actually the pub that first picture you showed me from the inaugural meeting was from. That was from the Tipsy Fiddler. That's owned by a Scottish lad, and yeah, lovely wee pub. And back in the day, though, when we had quite a big supporters club, they sort of didn't necessarily want that, because we were quite a loud club, but also they have supporters from like different clubs and everything. So they, at the time, they were quite busy and they didn't want to necessarily be involved with one of the Scottish clubs. But this year, it's since most of the bars around here are a lot quieter now, and they want they want the crowds in. They agreed to that. They were more than happy to do that and do happy hour for us and everything. So we started off there for a bit, and then we had a few. It depends on the time of the games here as well, because the game timings are our worst issue, and that's just
Same
the
here.
issue of the games. Same as yourself, same as even Bangkok. You have 1 hour on us, but in general, it's not much better. But yeah, more recently now, we've been going more consistently to a bar called Butler and White's, and it's owned by a Welsh guy. But he's been really good to the supporters club. He puts on the Guinness deal for us all the time.
I was going to ask you, how much is a pint? I can see the people in the comments probably saying, how much is a pint in Shanghai?
Yeah, so the standard pint would be about 60. Just anywhere around the city, it will be around 60 for just normal time, not happy hour. About 60 RMB.
Yeah.
That's about what, £6.
Right.
Yeah, about £6 a pint. In and around that. But yeah, this bar now, it's been renamed now because they're doing an official reopening actually this weekend. But now they're going to be known as Guinness Social by Butler and White's. So for the games, when we're out for the games, he'll do a 3-hour Guinness free flow for the supporters club for 268. So about £26-27, but that's 3 hours free flow Guinness. And it's the best Guinness in Shanghai. So it's good for especially people like myself who will definitely make the most of it in 3 hours time.
The best Guinness in Shanghai. That's an interesting expression. All right, David, did you find that your record numbers were pre-COVID as well?
I think certainly we were affected by COVID. I mean, a lot of the passing trade we get in Bangkok. So obviously we were relying just really on the locals. Actually, the night when Bangkok closed down because of COVID, we were having our first ever Asia convention. We had Alan Thompson and Paul Byrne. We had an absolutely brilliant night in O'Shea's. And then we were all getting ready to go to Pattaya the next morning, and they closed the country down. So really we did kind of struggle. Obviously, the games weren't on, and I think it was a difficult time for all of us. But since then, since COVID's come back, I think we've got quite good numbers now. Our membership's up, and we're getting a lot of tourists, and certainly for the Rangers game, we're expecting into treble figures for watching at the world famous O'Shea's. Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky you have anybody to watch the games with. The reason that a Celtic World exists is due in no small part to the fact that I have nobody to watch the games with, so or to talk to, about Celtic. So even if it's small numbers, Jamie, it's something, and you can always build on it as word spread. So I imagine there's a part of you that's looking forward to the rebuilding process and seeing how you get on.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we've done fairly well this year. We haven't gotten to big numbers, but we consistently have numbers. Apart from, like I said, those maybe 11 p.m. kickoffs. We're playing St. Johnstone or something on a Sunday night at 11 o'clock. To be honest, most people don't want to go out, and especially when the majority are working in schools, they don't want to go out until 1 o'clock on a Sunday when they're working first thing on a Monday morning, which is understandable. Sure. But for Saturday night games and for especially the bigger games, we've always had decent enough numbers. So like from 8 up to 15-ish, so definitely not complaining about it. It's better, like you said, than having no one to watch it with.
Yeah, boo-hoo, woe is me. All right, here's the t-shirt, traveling around a bit, visiting Glasgow, it looks like there. Oh, certainly this is.
Yeah, that was just very recently there. That was for young boys. So that's myself on the right, and then next to me is one of the lads that lives out here. He's been part of the CSC this year the whole time, mostly through being mates with me and being a big football fan, but now he's been converted to Celtic as his sort of second team. And then behind the star, that's one of my good mates that's been out here for a long, long time. He's watched Celtic with us most of the time since I've been here, and when I was here last time, he comes out and watches Celtic. He knows all the songs. He was dying to get himself over to Celtic someday, so that was his first time at Celtic Park, Kevin. And then the lad next to him then was Ryan, was another big member of the Shanghai CSC over the years, and he with his company, he's often out here working, so he still comes here, 2-3 times a year, and he'll always come out then to watch the games. He has a season ticket back home, so yeah, he was a great member as well. And then the other lad was another just Shanghai mate of mine, who I kind of converted into Celtic, and he's been at probably four Celtic games in the last year or so. Because he's living back in England now. And then that's my brother who came over to join us. he's not been out to the CSC out here yet, but so pretty much all Shanghai boys in that picture there. But it was a nice time where we all got to the game, and a lot of first timers actually at the stadium. So it was a great night. Probably a bit more frustrating in terms of football, especially in the first half, than it should have been, but it was it was a great night and time in Glasgow.
Yeah, you're certainly doing your bit for converting fans to the cause.
Yeah. It has to be done. A lot of the boys that will kind of come just end up being like mates from other things you're doing in Shanghai, like from different clubs and stuff like that. And once they get into the spirit of watching it, and they kind of see a lot of the passion and stuff, they genuinely want to come more often, and they just get into it. So it's great to have lads like that, because that's what helps build the clubs as well. Can't just rely on the ones that are only diehard sort of Celtic fans.
Sure. Well, here's some people getting into it. It's always amusing to think of these songs being sung in far-flung places, and what must the locals walking past think when they see that?
Well, a lot of locals used to come in and join us, but yeah, that'll give Dave memories of outside O'Shea's and whatnot as well, I'm sure. That was my warm-up for Bangkok, singing the songs in Shanghai. But yeah, that was back in, as I said, the kind of good old days at the moment. But yeah, we used to have quite a crew, especially for the big occasions, and like to make quite a lot of noise, which was always fine, to be fair. In China, we've never really gotten in any bother with the noise we made outside the bar or that, but we were respectful at the same time, mostly.
Here's a few more pics. We'll just flick through some of these. If there's anything of note you want to say as we pass through these, or point people out, Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's our current place, but that's before it was sort of rebuilt across the kind of street from where it is now. So that was the original Butler and White's, and that's where we started going into probably before Christmas, maybe like November time. And they always give us sort of like a private room, whether we had 6 or 14, 15. They were good to us. But yeah, that's some of the crew now that will go fairly regularly. And that's Connor there as well.
That's in Butler and White's, as you say. And there's the
Yeah.
Tipsy Fiddler, as you say. You mentioned that earlier. It's a good name, isn't it?
It is, and it's a great wee pub. But yeah, the Tipsy Fiddler was near the start of the season, and we were just putting the feelers out. That's me and a few of the boys from the Gaelic club actually there in that one.
Okay, very good. Well, just for the last few minutes, Jamie, let's talk a bit about the team. You must be thrilled with how this season's gone. Absolutely legendary season so far.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic season. We can't have a whole lot of complaints. I think in terms of Europe, maybe earlier in our European games, after Dortmund and whatnot, we were probably, some of us, fearing the worst for some of the games that were to come. But it turned around amazingly, and you had a lot of very standout performers. But I feel like this team as a whole, there weren't many games where the whole team didn't play really well cohesively together in those games, and some of the best European performances like I've seen anyway. And then it was the same just recently with the Bayern Munich games, to go away to Bayern and to almost take them, but a heartbreak at the end, but to almost take a team like that to extra time in their own home ground, where they're playing the final this year, or where the final is going to be held this year. But now in general, it's been a great season. There isn't a whole lot to complain about. A few standouts, I think. Maeda stepped up. Ida stepped up really well as well when he was sort of the main striker for a couple of games after Kyogo left. Because I think a lot of us were worried about what was going to happen after that, and maybe we didn't have someone to cover instead of him. But the boys that are there just stepped up amazingly, and we're scoring for fun. Maeda's having an incredible season, and you have to say he's probably the one that you don't want to lose in the summer, because he's just been unbelievable. But our whole sort of attack right now is great. Like the wings with Jota on one wing and Kun on the other wing. We're teams don't want to play against with the speed and just the confidence behind them right now.
Well, Jamie, your audio is coming through fine, but your image is breaking up a little bit for me. I don't know if that's true for the viewer. You mentioned earlier your Chinese VPN may or may not run smoothly. Yeah. Are you likely to get back? How often do you get back? Will you see a game next season, do you think? Or
yeah, I normally try to get home at least once a year, and hopefully it's during a time when obviously Celtic are playing. Sometimes it ends up being during the summer, which is normally not the best for games, unless you can sneak a qualifier or something in there. But I was back just there during Chinese New Year, so it was great. It's great to have that, and yeah, hopefully we'll get back for a game or two in the next season as well. Maybe try and bring some more of the lads from here back over as well. We'll see what happens.
Chinese New Year, Gong Si Fa Chai. I wonder, how amazing is your Mandarin?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that. It's not the best now. To be honest, it was actually better the first time I was here. I went and did some lessons. And to be quite honest, when I moved to Thailand, I started learning Thai, and I had Thai friends. My Thai was decent, and it kind of took away from my Chinese, because it's just two sort of Asian languages. And sometimes here still I go in and order a coffee in Thai instead of Chinese, so I can't really say too much about that at the minute.
So we're going to go out in a high there with some Chinese language skills, but we'll have to turn our attention to David. David, you're a bit of a linguist. I won't say cunning, but I know you're a Francophile and a Francophone. How's your Thai? Is your Thai pretty good?
I'm really embarrassed. I've been in Thailand now for almost 10 years. I mean, I speak French, Italian, Spanish. Some people say I speak English, but my Thai is miserable. It's probably better than, sort of a lot of the foreigners, the Farangs here. But I mean, that's like saying you're the best dressed man in Albania. No, Jamie far outstripped me in Thai and everything else as well.
You only put Thai nit noi.
Chai cap. Would pass a Thai nit noi cap. What do you reckon for the game at the weekend? Will you be able to watch it, Jamie?
Yes, we will be watching that in the new Guinness Social by Butlers. And it's their opening weekend, so it's going to be a huge weekend, and it's obviously St. Patrick's weekend as well, which they're celebrating. So we'll definitely have a crowd for that, because I know there'll be a lot of people there that will just join in and watch as well, and there'll be a lot of Irish there as well. Our crowd going will probably come to like 15-ish or so, and then whoever joins us on top of that. But yeah, it's at 8:30 for us here, so it's not too bad, thankfully, even though it's Sunday night. But yeah, we'll be out in Guinness Social for that on Sunday night, and hopefully finish them off.
Well, giving the game away there that we're recording this before the Sevco game, and by the time people are watching this, they will know the result. So they're living in the future.
What did you do yesterday when, what did you do last week when Maeda scored his hat trick to make it 6-0? Must have been you must have been dancing on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, we don't remain quiet. You know me, David. We're the same here. As I said, it doesn't matter if we only have a few. We make plenty of noise, so it won't be long until you can hear us all the way from Bangkok, I'm sure.
Well, let's hope you're making plenty of noise after that game or during that game. All right, well, look, it's been great to catch up with Jamie in faraway China, Malaysia, and Bangkok. That's where our three people are from today. And it's being introduced by, I don't know, somebody in Australia or Korea. It really is a Celtic world, Jamie.
It certainly is. And you meet people doing it all over the world, and it's great to be part of this and keep promoting it.
All right, fantastic. Been great to check in with you. Thanks a lot, Jamie, and of course, David.
Yeah, thank you, Gav.
Cheers, Gav. All the best, Jamie. See you soon, hopefully. Hail, hail.
Yeah, you too. Hail, hail.